Yeah, you're good. Big weight. Nice. Good job, Carl. Okay.
All right, everyone. Oh, gotcha.
Sorry.
All right, welcome to the next town hall, the first of 2023. We have a very special town hall session tonight. We are not in our typical virtual setting. We are at a gym in downtown Richmond. We're at Shockoe Bottom Performance with owner and coach Mandi Reeves. And we have a couple of athletes joining us, Will and Pete from the area. And tonight's session topic is functional movement. A lot of us might not know what functional movement is, and that's exactly why Mandi and Special Olympics athletes are here. They're going to demonstrate some different functional movements and talk about its importance. And so we're really excited for them to be here and lead us through this session. So Mandi, team, take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hi. As Casey. That's okay. Awesome. All good? Perfect. Let's see. Go over here. There we go. All right. Perfect. So since you guys can hear me, I love that. Casey, will you turn that down a little bit? Thank you. Sorry. Casey's going to present a little bit of a slideshow that I've created just to kind of help us follow along a little bit about a couple of details. I'm a visual learner and tactile, so I wanted to put a couple of things together. But as Casey mentioned, I am here to talk to you guys about what functional movement is and how functional fitness impacts our lives. It's such a key and important, looks good, yep, important part because it truly, functional movement is how we get around and move in all of the ways in life in general. So as she mentioned, I'm Mandi Reeves. I own the gym Shockoe Bottom Performance with my husband. Here's just a couple of little facts about me. I'm a wife to my handsome hubby, Ryan, and you can see him pictured here, as well as my son, who is obsessed with baseball, and he's 11. Just turned 11 last week. I'm a dog mom. So if you like dogs, if anyone's in here who likes dogs, you can comment in there and share. I love my dogs. Ruger, Dude, and Mufasa are their names. Do you guys have dogs? No? Okay. And then, as I mentioned already, co-owner. And then I've spent the last 4.5 years in the technology industry as well as owning the gym. So a little bit of nerdiness in me there with owning the gym and fitness and wellness. But it was with the gym management software. So it is, something that is the gym itself and bringing the two, technology and fitness together is really cool. And then I'm a firm believer my purpose in this life is to bring understanding and knowledge to individuals, through my passion for what makes each of us unique, special, and worthy. So I'm excited to be here with you guys. Thanks for having me. All right. So functional fitness. What is functional fitness? You have one dog named Molly. Nice, Lizzie. But has anyone actually been in taken a functional fitness class themselves? If you can share that in the chat. Let's see what we've got. You good here? Yeah. Okay. Functional fitness. Anyone participate? And you can say no too, and that's all right. All right. Well, functional fitness itself. Functional fitness is a classification of an exercise. So what does that mean? It's a type of exercise that we do that involves using our body to help us improve the way that we perform our daily lives. Okay. So when we talk about that and we think about functional movement, we want to think about how does it truly like impact our daily life? What are the things that we do on the day to day that are considered functional movement? You can see a couple things here. PT or OT, that is definitely, they help you with improving the way that you perform your functional movement. That's a great observation, Lizzie. But things like walking, picking up heavy objects. So let's say, since Lizzie said she does have a dog, I bet that her dog's dog food may weigh, it could weigh 5 pounds, it could weigh 10 pounds or 50 pounds, right? I have 3 really big dogs. So my dog's dog food weighs a lot of pounds. So knowing how to pick up the heavy weight of my dog's dog food is a functional movement. Knowing how to use the muscles needed to protect myself so I don't injure my back, right? Or injure my hamstrings or my legs when picking up that weight. I train functional movement so that I can be stronger and do things like that, right? We're going to talk a little bit more about what specifically functional movements are, but I want you to also kind of think about how functional movement would help us in our life. Can any of you maybe share an idea or a thought about, since we've kind of already chatted about it, about a way you could imagine using functional movement in your life? Bend at the knees, not your back. Yep, there you go. So making sure you're loading those hamstrings. That's where we make sure we're using our muscle groups that are intended to help support our low back.
Walking up and down stairs.
Walking up and down stairs. That's right. There's some hinging. You guys are going to see the word hinge in a second. We'll talk about what that is that we need to do. Jogging. Yep. So jogging. Gait is something we're going to talk about what gait is, but that's basically how we walk. And a faster version of walking is jogging. So that's also a functional movement. Awesome. So how does it help us? We talked a little bit about this. It helps us perform our daily activities, but by training it regularly and performing it regularly and working to get stronger on it, it can help our balance, our endurance, and our flexibility. So by training and working and identifying the muscles, knowing what muscles to use when doing certain movements, can help keep you balanced, right? Endurance, that means the stairs, walking up the stairs. Casey, can you imagine, like, you would probably need a bit of endurance to go up like 8 flights, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Has anyone ever used a stair stepper in the gym or climbed a couple of flights of stairs? And that maybe seemed a little challenging. Yeah. So endurance, by training functional fitness, you improve that endurance to be able to go up the stairs faster or to go up more flights of stairs as well. Awesome. Let's see. Proper transferring of my clients who use wheelchairs for myself and them. Lizzie, that's exactly right. Absolutely. Oftentimes it's so important that we really realize that helping others who need help, we put ourselves at risk of potentially injuring ourselves. So being able to perform functional movement to better serve those who also need our help is definitely really, really important. So here are some examples. Thank you, Casey, for moving that over. Here are some examples of functional movements, and that's what we're going to go over with Will and Pete here. We're going to go over these movements, okay? So the 7 functional movements that I specifically, and I did put a little caveat down here, a little note that they may vary based on individual gyms, and how they identify functional movement may be different as well. But these are specific that speak to us, okay? I call this my sunshine. Stair stepper in the gym a long time ago. There you go. Yes, stair stepper is hard. It's really challenging. But it's great to help build that endurance of your legs, your muscles in your legs, and then also your cardiovascular endurance. So the examples of functional movement, they are all centered around my sunshine, which is all centered around my core. Now, Will or Pete, do either of you know when I say core, what area of our body we're talking?
All right, we're gonna switch.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Perfect. I'm back. All right. So we will work on pulling that up, but thankfully I teach the 7 functional movements in our gym all the time. So we're going to talk about those. We were just chatting about, and let me just confirm. Can you guys hear me again? Sorry about that. Just want to double check. Double checking. If you can hear me, give me a quick message. Yes, perfect. All right, thank you, Holly. So those 7 functional movements, we have all centered around our core, which Will mentioned that would be planks is a good way to like practice strengthening your core. In addition to it being centered around our core, in that sunshine image that you saw, we talk about a functional movement being gait, okay? Someone said jogging earlier as a functional movement or a way of performing our functional movement. That's perfect, awesome example. So gait is how we walk. It is our heel toe. When we go from our heel to our toe, stride when we walk. Functional movement right there, okay? After gait, we have squat. Have any of you guys done squats here before? I talked to Will and Pete right before and asked them if they had done an air squat, and they both have. They both showed me some examples. So if you've done squats before, you know those can tax our quads and our hamstrings. But that's definitely a functional movement because we have to squat down to pick things up, or squat down to lift or deadlift something up if it's low to the ground. We'll pull the sunshine back up, but while she's working on that, if we can't, we're going to go ahead and go through some demo movements. Is that okay, guys?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to stand up here. We're going to go over what a squat is. Now, what's really important to understand too about functional movement is that every individual on this stream, as well as who walks into my gym, I recognize is unique and special in their own way. And so everyone might move a little bit different, but my job as a coach is to understand how both of you move and to make sure that you're moving safely so that you don't injure yourself, right? So when we do some squats today, I'm going to have them do some air squats. I'm going to show them a couple. I'm going to have them do a few and then let you guys see how I would coach to help adjust to maybe make it feel a little different or a little better and everything, okay? So you guys saw me do some air squats, okay? I'm going to do a couple, and then I'm going to have you individually give me one, okay? All right, so when I'm thinking about an air squat, I want to think about leading. Another functional movement is hinge, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but leading with my hips, okay? I think about my weight being in my heels, okay? So if you two were to stand with your feet about right underneath your hips here, keeping that weight centered back in your heels, okay? And then you can just watch me first. I'm going to go into a squat here. So if I were to drop down, think about getting my hips between my feet. Perfect, thanks, Casey. Getting my hips between my feet. Now, not everyone might not be able to go this low in a squat. That's totally okay, all right? But again, that's where we would work together as a coach and an athlete to help improve and make sure you feel good in your squat, okay? So an air squat or a squat is a functional movement, okay? So I'm going to have Pete and Will give me a demonstration of their air squat. And Pete, I'll have you go first.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. Awesome. And then stand all the way back up. Right. Perfect. So that was great. One thing that I like, Pete, that you did is that you thought about a big chest.
Yeah.
You practice keeping your chest upright.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's one thing we want to think about, is not allowing our chest to go all the way down, because then oftentimes that takes the load off of our legs that we should be using to help improve our squat. Okay? Will, I'm going to have you step into the image here too and show me how you can do a squat. There we go. Yeah. Will has super mobile ankles, which is great, and you can stand right back up. Perfect. Great job there. Again, now Pete and Will both can go pretty low in a squat, which is amazing. Not everyone could do that, and that's totally okay. So I'm going to show you something that we can do if an individual can't go quite as low as Pete or Will, and how it can help them work on that ability to trust themselves to go back, putting weight in their heels, and trusting their body to allow them to sit onto a surface, okay? So if someone couldn't do a squat doing functional movement, there are different options that we can go over and work through to help get them into a better stance, okay? So what that would look like, either of you, would be, I'm gonna turn this box this way, and then have one of you stand right here. Okay, perfect. So, and you're gonna face that wall right there. Perfect. So from here, Pete, I'm just gonna have you in the same stance with those feet right underneath those hips, okay? I'm gonna have you just sit back on this box, okay? There you go. Perfect. And with your arms straight over you, stand right back up. Perfect. And if you can sit one more time for me, arms in front. There you go. And then stand right back up. Perfect. Great job. Nice work. That wasn't hard, was it?
No.
No? Was your squat too hard? No, pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So a squat is a functional movement, okay? We are working on practicing the balancing of the load of our muscles to make sure that we can perform that movement safely, okay? In addition to a squat, our next functional movement that we're going to go over is a lunge. So a lunge is something that, do you like lunges?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, all right. Lunges are something that can be challenging because individuals can suffer from knee problems or pains or range of motion in getting into a good lunge position, but we will talk about some options there as well. So I'm going to show you guys a demo of my lunge, and then I'll let you guys do your example too, okay? So for a lunge, we want to think about hinging at our hips and our knees, okay? Which again, a hinge is another functional movement. But hinging here, and then being able to stand right back up. Then we're going to alternate. Stand right back up, okay? So where you both are standing, you can be seen in this image, okay? So I'm going to let you guys actually lunge together with whichever leg you feel more comfortable with, and you're going to pause at the bottom, okay? Perfect. Whichever way you're more comfortable. There we go. Awesome. And stand. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to have you pause right here. Do you see how your knee is slightly above that toe? I'm going to have you pull it out, your foot out, just there it is. Perfect. So this allows your knee to stay in line with your ankle. So then, Will, when you go to stand up, you're going to be able to drive through that midfoot to stand right back up. There we go. Awesome. Great job. Any pain there?
No.
Awesome. All right. So lunges, right? Some individuals can go lower than others. That's totally okay. We would just modify the depth of which your knee would be able to go to make sure that you can still perform that movement well. Because if you were going to run or jog up the steps with a fast movement, then at that point you're also performing something similar to a lunge, okay? I want to stop for a second and pause and see, does anyone have questions about squats or lunges, or have you performed those before, and what did you think about them? Let's see. You like using a chair. Yeah, Emily, a chair is great. So if you can't perform and get all the way to the bottom of a squat, being able to squat to a chair is awesome. Sometimes if we have individuals who want to weight train, we will have them, if their positioning or form is if we're still working on that due to some mobility or flexibility in some of their joints, then we'll have them squat to a chair. or a box as well. Awesome. Has anyone performed lunges or squats recently in their workouts? All right. Well, we will keep moving on. After lunge, did we have twist, Casey? Is that what's next up there? No, we have hinge. Hinge. Perfect. So we talked already a little bit about hinge, and hinging is a functional movement because we do it every day. We do it with our elbows. We hinge here. We do it with our hips. You guys point to your hips. Can you raise your knees up this way and show how you can hinge with your hips? Sorry, I lost my balance there for my ankles. Hinge. Yep. We hinge with our hips here. Perfect. Can you do this and balance on one foot? Yeah, there you go. And the other foot. Here. Great. There you go. Look at you. Nice job. Perfect. Any pain or anything when you do hinging with your hips? No?
Nope.
Awesome. So being able to move well and hinge at our hips is important so that we can continue to run or walk through life or climb up the stairs and things like that. Awesome. After hinge, Casey, we had rotate. So this is rotate or twist. Twisting is a functional movement because oftentimes, and what we think about is our shoulders coming out of a line with our hips. Okay. So if we're practicing and making sure that we have strong low back muscles to support our ability to turn our shoulders out of alignment with our hips, those are things that we perform. When in life do you think you maybe twist and it would be important that you knew how to brace your core? Remember the center of our sunshine, brace your core so you can protect yourself with those twists. Can anyone think of anything? Maybe. Can you think of something, Casey?
I'm sitting down and I drop something.
Yeah, that's great. Yep. If you're sitting down and you drop something, so you have to bend down out of your chair or twist to pick something up. Another thing that I can think about is like reaching behind you to grab a piece of paper, or maybe your parents reaching behind you to grab a piece of paper out of the printer, right? I've heard several of my clients come in and said that they injured their back by getting a piece of paper out of their printer. It's incredible that multiple people will come in and have that same injury. And that oftentimes is because we don't train functional fitness and strengthen these low back muscles so that our body can be healthy to rotate and practice rotating safely. Okay. So one way that I like to test this movement is by lunging and twisting. Okay. Do you like or not like lunges?
I like it.
You like it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to just give you guys an example of what a lunge and twist. So if we were going to do an assessment, which we'll talk about in a minute, what that looks like. Okay. So if I were to lunge, one way I can test to make sure that I don't have tight low back muscles here is I would twist. I'm going to bring my left shoulder towards the knee that is up here. Okay. All right. Do you guys want to try that?
Sure. Individually or together?
Yeah. So you either one. Let's go individually.
Okay.
All right. We'll go with you first, Will. So if you get into that good lunge position, thinking about that knee that we talked about the last time. You remember that? There you go. Yeah. Twist this way. Perfect. And grab, can you take this hand and grab this knee? Perfect. And turn that body there. Any pain or tightness? No? Awesome. You can stand up safely. Yeah. Good job. Awesome. That's working on that lower back flexibility there. All right. There you go. Lunge there. Yep. And turn that shoulder. Take this hand for me, Will. And grab this knee. Sorry. And grab this knee. Grab this hand. Right there. Turn this shoulder. Yeah, there we go. Trying to think about, do you feel yourself stretching here?
Yeah.
Think about lifting yourself up just a little bit right there. You can stay on your knee. There you go. Just lifting your chest up. There it is. Yep. And then turning that shoulder that way. Yep. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. You can stand right back up, feet. Perfect. Any pain or anything? No? No, standing in that lunge position is a little bit, yeah, just a little bit new.
Yeah, kind of.
Awesome. Good job.
I like it.
So Twist or rotate is an important functional movement, again, so we can know how to properly do that. Initially, Pete was leaning forward a little bit in his lunge, and so that could have put some strain on that low back. So being able to recognize or realize or feel that stretch by training this more often, you can learn to protect yourself there, okay? After this, we have push, one of my favorites, okay? What is something that you guys can think in life that you might do where you're pushing something? Can you guys think of something? What's something you might push in life?
A door.
A door. That's right. You have to push a heavy door closed. Okay. What about you, Pete?
One thing. Bag of groceries.
A bag of groceries. Yeah. You could in a grocery cart. You could be able to push. Absolutely. If it got stuck and you needed to get it over something, you should be able to.
Snow.
Yeah. There you go. Push an object to move it. I think about when individuals, let's just say, when we're a little bit older, if we're not very steady on our feet, imagine if we were to trip and fall, okay? And if we fall forward and we've never trained functional movement, then how do we get up? We would have to be able to think about being able to push ourselves up. And then what was the movement we just talked about?
Oh, trip. What Russian twist?
Twist. Russian twists are a form of twisting movement. Yeah, that's great. That's a core movement. But if we were to trip and fall and we're face forward here, we would again need to be able to push ourselves up to then turn ourselves over, and then we'll go over an additional movement there. But push is a great one. What is a form of exercise that you guys can think of that might be that you're familiar with for pushing?
Push-ups.
Push-ups.
I was thinking about that, yeah.
Perfect.
Push-ups.
Good job. Awesome. So push-ups, that is one way that in here, when I have individuals come who are interested in performing functional movement, that's one way we take a look to see where they're at, to see where I need to meet them to help them build strength in the muscles to be able to perform those movements better. So we're going to try push-ups, okay? All right. So have you guys done push-ups before?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So in here, you have different forms of push-ups.
Okay.
You can do push-ups on the ground, okay? But then we can also do them on a box or a surface.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. To be able to help support us and get us into a good position. Okay. So I'm going to hold the box here, and I'm going to have you start, but I'm going to show you what I want you to do. Okay. I'm going to have you put your hands or your palms right here on the box.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you drop your chest
Like that.
down right to the box, and then push yourself right back up.
Okay.
Okay? You can stand right here for me. That way they can see the side of you.
Okay.
Awesome. So palms down. Yep. Think about bringing those elbows, hinging at those elbows. You're going to put your palms up right there. There you go. That way you have support. And then think about hinging, coming straight down to your chest to the box. Yeah. And drive it all the way back up. Can you do two more? Let's see you. Yeah. Two. Awesome. Three. That's amazing. That was great. That wasn't too hard, right?
No.
Now, this is one way to do a push-up if on a surface to help us build the muscle strength to be able to go even lower. Do you think you could do a push-up if I drop the box a little lower?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you could too.
Yes.
All right, let's try it.
Okay.
All right. So now I'm going to have you put your hand. We're going to come up one more. Sorry.
Okay.
1 second.
Okay.
So it's still a little lower. That was 30 inches. Now we're going to go 24 inches.
Okay.
And I'm going to have Pete put his hands right back to where he was there. Back those feet up for me just a little bit. Right here. Yeah, there you go. Think about bringing your hips forward. There we go. And now you're going to drop that chest down and touch it right there. There you go. And press. Awesome job. One more. There you go. Nice job. Perfect. So that's being able to do a push-up. If a push-up on the ground was too challenging, right?
Right.
By being able to raise ourselves up,
Yeah.
we're able to do that and complete that push-up more efficiently and do them in a larger set so that we can gain muscle strength. Okay? That wasn't too bad, right?
No.
Awesome. Good job.
Thanks, man.
Perfect. All right. Well, you ready to
It's okay.
try?
It's okay.
All right, I'm gonna keep them right here and see, okay, how this push-up's gonna go. I'm gonna have you put your arms, shoulder width apart, back those feet up just a little bit for me, Will. Bring these hips forward. There we go. And then drop those elbows. There you go. And drive it up. Can you give me 2 more? You're so strong. 1 more. Nice job. Look at you. That's perfect. Nice work. All right. So have any of you done push-ups in your workouts recently, and what did you think about them? Emily said, good job to you guys.
Thank you.
Wall push-ups. Wall push-ups are an amazing option. Absolutely. Wall push-ups are great, especially if a surface like the box is still a little too low and it's too challenging. Maybe your arms don't have that muscle capacity yet or muscle strength to be able to allow you to get your chest all the way to that surface. So doing a wall push-up could be a great option for someone who's working on getting a little lower to that flat position. Okay, let's see. That's easier for you. Push-ups from your knees. Yes, there are push-ups from your knees. Absolutely, agreed. Push-ups from your knees, perfect is same and very similar. It's definitely a good option if you don't have a surface that you can actually raise or incline your body position to be able to make those push-ups a little bit more feasible. Awesome. Great job. All right, so after push, then we have pull, okay? What about you guys? Can you think of a movement in life that you may pull something or need to pull something?
Pull-ups.
Pull-ups? Yeah, absolutely. That's an exercise. That's exactly what we're gonna talk about today, as in for the movement assessment if we were going over it to see functional movement. What about you?
Thank you.
That's okay. All good. Have either of you ever had to help clean out from underneath a fridge or behind a fridge? Have you ever seen that, or a stove? No. That's one that I commonly think about, is if you've ever had to or seen your parents pull your refrigerator out to clean behind it. That seems like a really big object, right?
Yeah.
So being able to have the strength to pull a fridge out or pull a piece of furniture away from the wall safely without injuring ourselves. Again, thinking about our core, we see that in the center of our sunshine there. Being able to do that without hurting ourselves is a really important task so that we can get normal things in life done. What's something else that you guys can think of pulling? A pulling movement. Door, yeah, pulling a door. What about if you were pulling a sled?
Picking up something from the car.
Yep.
Put your bag in the back seat.
Yep. Pulling a big bag out, like a bag with all of your sports equipment in it. Okay. So that could be something that's heavy. Or we can also think about pulling off of the ground when we pick up a case of water or a water jug, right? That's all pulling movement. So we do pulling, but more often pulling a plane for the plane full of.
The Special Olympics fundraising event.
Yeah, you pull.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's fun. You have to be really strong, and it's important you could throw your low back out if you don't know how to properly engage those muscles. So that's where functional fitness can absolutely help you in pulling a plane. That's cool. I want to be able to say, yeah, great example. That's awesome. Well, for today's purposes, we're going to talk about pull-ups, okay? And oftentimes, many of the times, people can't do pull-ups, okay? And if someone can't do a pull-up, it was my head behind the box. If someone can't do a pull-up, then there should be modifications or options that they can do so they can still perform the movement, okay? So I'm going to have, and they've actually done this a little bit today already. We messed with this so that they could get an idea of what it felt like, but we use something called ring rows, okay, to do pull-ups, okay? So if you can't do a pull-up from a pull-up bar specifically, then being able to do pull-ups from rings is definitely an option to be able to allow you to still perform functional movement while still maybe working. Maybe a goal is to get a pull-up, okay? So Pete, do you remember our ring rows?
I do, yeah.
Perfect. Do you want to show them an example? I know your back will be to them, but that's okay. We're going to talk about, I'm going to demo it. So if you want to grab your feet, yeah, right where, oh yeah, perfect. There you go. Awesome. So you're going to see here, yep. So remember, lean back, keep those hips big, bring this forward. Yeah, lean back, straighten those arms. Lean all the way, yeah, there you go. And now pull forward. And you're going to come back again.
Do a row.
There you go. Do a row. It's a row. It is a row. There you go. Give me 2 more. Nice. 1 more. Last one. Yeah, perfect. So that didn't seem too challenging, right? You could probably do 10 of those. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. See?
Yeah.
So you maybe can't do 10 pull-ups, right? But you can still train the same muscles and do a similar movement to ensure that and to help work towards getting to a pull-up or get the same stimulus to build strength in the same muscles that you would do if you were doing a pull-up. All right, well, you want to try? Awesome. You think you can give me 5?
Oh, you bet I can.
Oh, yeah. Let's see this. There we go. Pull that chest all the way through. There you go. Yeah. 2. Yeah, 3. 4, and 1 more.
Woo woo.
5. Amazing. Great job. Now, Will, I'm going to test you really quick. I'm going to have you do the same thing, but I'm going to bring your feet forward a little bit. I'm going to show you how you can make these a little harder. You think you're up for the challenge?
Of course.
All right.
I love challenges.
You love challenges. Me too. All right. So this time you're going to stand right there. I'm going to have you bring those feet right to me. Up here a little bit. There we go. So now when you lean back, it's going to seem a little bit more challenging, okay? So I'm going to have you extend your arms all the way back again. I'm right here to guide you. Awesome. Now pull forward. Awesome. Can you give me 2 more? There you go. And 1 more. Awesome job. Nice work. Great. Perfect.
Good job.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. So being able to do, do any of you, I guess I'll ask first. Let me see which way I need to go. There we go. Have any of you had a desire to ever do a pull-up, or can you do a pull-up? Let's see. Emily, have you ever done a pull-up before, or wanted to do a pull-up, or done a version of a pull-up? Let's see. Well, Emily said she loves challenges too. You haven't, but you'd love to try. That's all that you have to want to do is want to try. And I bet someone can definitely teach you. I like to do them from my knees. That's awesome, Isabel. So doing your pull-ups from your knees, we have something called a baby bar, which is just a shorter bar that can be placed somewhere on a rig or on like the pull-up bar here to help with knee pull-ups. Knee pull-ups are a great option similar to the rings that can help you build muscles for that functional movement specifically. Okay. Any questions from you guys that I could answer right now about functional movement? So we talked about squat, lunge, hinge, rotate. Remember, taking our shoulders out of alignment with our hips, push, pull. We haven't talked a ton about gait yet. We're going to dive into that in a second, but I want to see if any of you guys have any questions about these functional movements or thoughts on them at all.
I have a question. We
Yeah.
have technical difficulties, so I'm off camera, but are we supposed to incorporate all of these functional movements in every workout or in our routine?
Great question.
Like, how much should we pay attention to that sunbeam and all
That
these different
sunshine.
things?
Yeah, that's such a good question. Thank you, Casey. So it depends on the style of training that you're doing. But if you do any of these things, if you pick up weight off of the floor, or you pull something out of a drawer, like something heavy off of a shelf, or lift your dog food, or squat down to like pick up lint off of the floor or something like that, then it's important that you're being mindful and incorporating these movements in your workout so that you can build the muscles that are required to perform them well. Okay, so depending on the type of exercise that you do or training that you do will depend on how much you actually would use these movements. Okay, but that is why when we talk about the definition of what is functional fitness, it's a form of exercise that allows you to incorporate the everyday movements that you do into a training routine so that you can strengthen and improve them. Okay. So if you do some sort of exercise right now and you don't think, okay, I don't really squat that much, or, you're not maybe lunging, doesn't necessarily mean that that's not right, that you're not doing the right type of exercise, but this is just an additional form. So if this is something that you want to get better at, right? If you wanted to get better at any of these functional movements, maybe a type of functional training would be a great option, or you feel maybe you're a little weak at picking up a heavy weight off of the floor, or you don't know what types of movements you're supposed to engage or how you're supposed to properly pick weight up off the floor, then considering a type of functional training could definitely be a good option. Okay. Do either of you guys have questions about functional movements?
What was that?
No? Awesome. You both performed them very well. Great. Any other questions that we can dive into? Otherwise, Casey, flip my slide here. So I want to talk to you about, so she said she was at Shockoe Bottom Performance, which that is where we are at. We're sitting in the middle of my gym here tonight. And I do want to talk a little bit about functional training and what CrossFit is, because my gym is a CrossFit gym. Have any of you guys ever heard of CrossFit yourselves? Whoops, done with resistant bands. And I like to use that actually. Yes, resistant bands are a great form of building strength. Absolutely, those are all great. Perfect. So again, has anyone ever heard of the training style of what is CrossFit, or the type of training of CrossFit? Scary. Yes, a lot of people think it's scary. Were any of the movements or things you did today scary?
No.
Those are things you do every day, right?
Right.
That's exactly right. So that was a great representation, Casey, because so many people think CrossFit is scary. And I am here to tell you that CrossFit doesn't have to be scary. Okay. I think a lot of times what people see for CrossFit, if you've ever seen CrossFit, is that it's, fast and heavy weight, or that it just takes a certain type of person to do, which all are not true. Okay. CrossFit by definition is constantly varied functional movement, which is what we did today, right? Functional movement performed at high intensity. Okay. I think historically, like I put on here, is that there's a little bit of a lack of context here, because high intensity, one thing I want to tell you guys, when you think of high intensity, maybe what do you think about? Holly or Emily or Isabel, what do you think about when you think about high intensity? Does anything come to either of your minds if you think of high intensity? Not really? Doesn't scare you?
No.
Oh, that's good.
Nope.
I love it. Awesome. Does something specific come to your mind, Casey, when you think high intensity?
Ending a workout at, I think, what they call failure.
Okay.
So like completely exhausted. You're kind of maybe a little bit in pain.
Okay.
That feels like what I think a lot of people think of
High intensity. Yes. So one thing I want to just extreme cardio. Yeah, that is what I would think of extreme cardio, what I would think of when I think about high intensity as well, right? But again, where I think there's that lack of context here is understanding that intensity level, and where they couldn't really define intensity well in the definition, is specific to each individual. What is high intensity for me may be very different for high intensity for Casey. Casey and I have gone on a run before, and I think she could beat me in speed for sure and distance. But, right, high intensity or intensity from individuals can be very different, okay? intensity for Will, or that heart rate, or what you feel is like really, really fast beating heart, like when you're doing Zumba or doing extreme cardio, everyone's body is different. So I just want to remind each of you that if you were to read the words functional movement, we all just kind of saw what functional movement was. I think many of you talked about the ways you performed those functional movements are done at high intensity. That is going to be specific to you as an individual. And they are only going to be performed at high intensity if you can perform them well and perform them safe. Okay. So the intensity is a second piece to CrossFit after the safety of functional movement or functional fitness. Okay. We always want to think about how can we make each of you stronger through the functional movements, the things you do every single day, types of movements you do every single day, but dedicated to an individual focus, right? So, questions about that? No? No? Pretty okay there? Awesome. So, functional movements, they are the building blocks to an individual's approach to CrossFit. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that that's like outlined, especially if there's some athletes here who maybe have never heard of CrossFit. CrossFit doesn't seem scary to them, but maybe if you were to go and ask your mom or dad about it, or your caretaker about it, can I do CrossFit? They might be like, oh goodness, all I know is high intensity and it's not safe. Well, it's definitely important to realize that the high intensity comes after the functional movement. And our guys here showed us that all of the movements that we focus on in here can be done safely. They perform them safely and that aren't scary. Okay. Yeah, that works. Perfect. So I want to talk to you guys too about, and I know some of you maybe have not heard of CrossFit or CrossFit is just not something you're very familiar with. It's totally okay. Yeah, basketball or running could be great examples of high intensity. We do running in CrossFit workouts. But I want to talk a little bit to the sport of CrossFit versus the methodology of functional wellness through CrossFit. Okay. Have any of you guys played rec league football or rec league basketball?
Actually, I did Unify.
Unify, is that basketball?
Yeah, basketball.
Basketball, right? And there's an event coming up we were just talking about, right?
Basketball championships?
Basketball state games in Stratford, Virginia.
Woo! Are you excited for that?
They are.
Yeah. So basketball, now, do you ever watch professional basketball on TV?
NBA, no. College, yes.
College, yes.
College, yes. NBA, no.
College, yes. NBA, no.
Watches Tech?
Yeah? Is that your favorite basketball team?
Yeah, it's Tech, yes.
What about you? You are? Okay. A little hometown, right? Hometown love. Virginia Tech, still same state. My brother went to Tech. So the reason I ask if they've watched that on TV is because there is a difference between performing basketball at a rec league versus expecting that you could go out and perform and keep up with, right? Someone who does this in college or in the NBA. It's just not realistic, right? In all scenarios. Some of you on here maybe could. I don't want to definitely don't want to doubt you, right? But in the reality of it is they play at such a high level because they have this ability to perform at that level, right? But it doesn't mean that everyone is supposed to perform at that level. There is the exact same situation or scenario when it comes to CrossFit. So if you ever hear somebody say CrossFit's, scary or too hard, we have some people cheering for VCU Rams and Hokies and all of that too. Wow. Yeah. But if you ever hear someone say that CrossFit is too hard, what I want and I hope after today that pops into your mind is the fact that CrossFit is just functional movement, like you saw Will and Pete do today, performed at an intensity that's specific to you to where you can control it and manage it, okay? With a coach with their eyes on you, keeping you safe as well, okay? There we go. That's right, me. It's been fun to coach these guys today to show them that they can perform these movements And there's versions of the movements. If they can't do a true full pull-up just yet from a pull-up bar, but it's a goal, that's where the ring rows and working on some different types of movements with the ring rows themselves can help them get that pull-up, okay? So there's a sport of CrossFit, and then there's methodology and true data and information. Remember, I told you I work for a software company. I like data. I'm a little bit of a nerd in that sense, but true data that helps us to use functional movement to improve our overall strength and wellness.
So
Okay?
Mandi, are you
Yeah.
saying that most people that exercise at a CrossFit gym are not elite level professional CrossFit athletes?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Wow.
Who knew? Who knew, right? My gym is full of normal people like you and I who are just trying to live healthy, better lives. We want to just be a little bit better each day, right? Keep and stay strong bodies, strong minds, and strong hearts. And so the people who walk in my door every single day are just individuals who want to feel good and live a healthy life. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So we went ahead and jumped ahead, so you can move on. This is those examples of functional movement. I just want to give Pete and Will a huge thank you for demoing those movements. And again, were they scary? No, not at all. Exactly. So that's just a big thank you. And then there should be maybe one more slide. I'm not sure, but if not, that's okay too. Perfect. So a question that I want you guys to ask yourself after watching this, okay, is could functional fitness benefit you or your loved ones? And Emily said, thank you, Pete and Will. But do you think functional fitness or training things like push-ups, squats, lunges, hinging, walking or running to improve your capacity, your mobility, your cardiovascular, your heart endurance, your muscle capacity, your balance? Do you think those things could be helpful for you in life? Do you guys think they could be helpful for you?
Yes.
Yeah? I know Will does some kettlebell work, and Pete rides his bike a lot, which is hinging, and you have to have leg endurance and muscle endurance to ride a bike, right? So I've left a couple. We're going to make sure that you guys have this slideshow that give you a couple of follow-up questions to determine. I see Emily said yes, she thinks that she could benefit from functional training. Isabel, again, also said yes, that she could benefit from it. So we all, truthfully, most people who would perform at least some of these movements on a daily basis could benefit from functional fitness and functional training. And it's just really important that we understand that by training movements with a coach or in a safe environment, the number one goal is to just improve our life when we're not here in the gym. Because more of our life, you guys are athletes, which I love, right? But more of your life is spent outside of the gym than it is spent inside of the gym. And it's so important that you do things inside the gym that help aid you in what you want to do, like maybe play Frisbee with your siblings or race someone up the steps or to the stop sign. That's one of the reasons I started training functional fitness personally and doing CrossFit, was because I found myself as a mom of a 2-year-old, a little bit overweight, and really wanting to make sure that I could race my son to the stop sign and be able to do that without struggling. And so functional fitness helped me to accomplish that, to be able to keep up with him. And it did change my life as well. Awesome. Any questions? I just want to open up the options for some questions here to see if anyone has some questions for me, for Will, or for Pete about the movements that they performed today. Somebody. That's right. You guys did such a good job demoing. Maybe I just left them without any questions. Yeah.
I will come into frame though.
Yeah.
I am here. We have had technical difficulties, but we managed, and I just wanted to thank Mandi and
Yes.
Shockoe Bottom Performance and these guys, and also share that we will have the presentation available on our resource library soon, as well as this entire video, so you can go back and watch and listen. And yeah, we just look forward to more ways that as Special Olympics Virginia, we can all get more familiar with the concept of functional movement and try to be more intentional by incorporating it into our physical fitness every day. So didn't want to take away your
perfect.
end.
I love it. That's great. I love that ending. It's
Awesome.
a team effort. That's what community CrossFit functional fitness gyms are about. They're about CrossFit. They're about community. What would be the suggested workout schedule for a regular CrossFit routine? Weekly, several times a week? Great question, Holly. I would suggest it depends on the individual. And so working with a coach on that individual, but most often that is going to be generally 3 to 5 times a week, honestly. The way that programming with functional fitness is done, it should be full body inclusive and not thinking about a particular like overtraining one muscle group over another. So it would be something that's balanced throughout the week. So 3 to 5 times a week. But honestly, any training that you can get in, I know schedules are busy. You guys all perform different types of sports and different types of athletic, you have different types of commitments. So anytime you can train functional movement is going to be better than just not doing anything. So that building that muscle endurance and capacity there. Good question.
We have
Awesome.
1 minute left.
A minute.
And we had a question. Someone wanted to know, Will and Pete, what your favorite exercise was that you did with Mandi. And if you can remember which of the core functional movements.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Let's see. My favorite exercise with Mandi was the Wayne
rows.
The Wayne rows. Yes.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah, and you
favorite.
did them so well. Yeah,
That's someone said.
that's awesome. What about you? For you, Will?
Favorite one you did today?
The squats.
Squats. Yeah, you have a great squat. You have good ankle mobility.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great job. Pete and Will, what's the hardest exercise?
Oh boy. One sec. Push-ups, probably.
Push-ups.
I agree.
Agreed. All right. Yeah, Emily said she thinks that it would be twisting for her,
Yeah.
potentially. Yeah. Awesome. You
That
guys
is
did
so
so
cute.
great. Thank you guys so much for having me. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.